they call it cheese sauce. It's a morning. You can put it in the lasagna tin, make it thick or thin, and do it your way. When you make bechamel and you add cheese as well, it's a morning.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Good evening, you're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir, and tonight I'm joined by Francis and Caitlin of Moura Restaurant, a family-owned bistro with a focus on the wine programme, as Caitlin is a sommelier. Francis is the chef, and you can expect themed menus with wine pairing events, a passionate team that creates a warm family-style atmosphere, great food and wine experiences right here in the heart of our beautiful city, Cardiff. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm excited you can give us the intel of what sought-after wines are still in circulation from great years gone by, what grapes are globally favoured. Your expertise goes beyond simple pairings. You understand the provenance, age and ideal conditions for every bottle. Sommeliers are gatekeepers to a curated collection of liquid history. But before we discuss the restaurant, tell us your journey and how you met.
So Francis and I, we're from Durban in South Africa, which is on the east coast. I met him when I was attending a restaurant that he was managing with a friend who happened to know him. Mm-hmm. So she called him over to the table and had a little chat, and he gave me a free tequila,
Nice.
which at that point in my life was definitely the way to my heart. And I thought he was really handsome and just nice guy. So obviously I quite liked him, but my friend said that he might possibly have a girlfriend or something. So I just sort of wrote it off and went on with my life. But then we kept bumping into each other. So it was, we bumped into each other at wine tasting events, and sort of sparks started flying to the point that my friend actually pointed out to us that, he said to me, I think this guy might like you, kind of thing. And then we both realised that we were on the same dating site. So we both realised we were both single. So we started chatting on that, and then we went on a date. It was such a great first date. Like, we just didn't want it to end. We just kept going, oh, do you want to go to this place now? Oh, do you want to go to this place now? It was like one of those nights you just didn't want to end. And we had this sort of whirlwind romance where basically he moved in 3 weeks later. Wow. And we've been together for over a decade now. Yeah. We've been married for over a decade. And we moved over to the UK. We came from very different backgrounds though. Francis worked in hospitality. Mm-hmm. I was a lawyer.
Wow.
I was a tax attorney as well, so I did very stressful, heavy work. And when we came over to the UK, we sort of had to start again because I wasn't qualified here. Oh. And Francis I think he struggled to find his feet in the beginning, but he managed to get through, go up the ranks again to the point that he was sort of a general manager of a restaurant. And I got tired of repossessing dead people's houses, which is what I was doing here. And I saw a job in for a wine retailer, and I thought, that looks like fun, something that's more in line with my passions. And then obviously I ended up working in the wine trade. And I think, Francis has always had an interest in wine. I've had an interest in wine. We're both absolute foodies. Yeah. So I think that journey of meeting each other, both having such similar interests, coming over here and building a new life for ourselves and discovering new things has all been a culmination of what we bring to Moura. It's that food and that, the passion for food and wine.
Beautiful. Fate.
Fate.
Dream team.
Dream team, exactly.
He's also the hardest working person I've ever met, and I hope you think the same about me.
No, I can't not.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your chef journey as well?
Oh gosh, yeah. So I would say, when you're talking about cooking, and that obviously stems from family life, but I'd say the greatest impact I had after that was working with a chef by the name of Dan Evans. And he he was the chef in a prominent pub that really got the term gastropub going on. Okay. And he took me under his wing for about a year, and he didn't teach me how to, slice julienne or baton. It was more about taking flavors, making them work, making seasonal produce work, and creating something new and creating experiences. And that's where that sort of stemmed from. And I mean, but I was more front of house. I originally started out in the back, in the kitchen, and doing prep like you would, like a chef de partie. But it was just a really stressful environment, so I moved to the front. But I always enjoyed influencing menus and creating meals, and that was always fun. And then when we decided to take the restaurant on, we had a chef that was there, and he decided to leave within a week of us opening, and we just had to don the whites and get on with it.
Yeah.
And that's where it's been ever since. Yeah.
You obviously enjoy it. You plan out
absolutely.
fantastic meals as well.
Yeah.
Moura is cosy. It's highly rated European cafe, wine bar and restaurant, blending French and bold seasonal flavours with excellent wine pairings. It's an intimate dining at its best. I have to shout out Bohemian, a pop-up style dining concept with Chef Tom Martin. Last Wednesday was wonderful. The food was so good. Thank you for a fantastic evening. I will be back to sample Moura's offerings as well. 100%.
Yeah, it was a good evening.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And your staff are lovely as well.
Thank you.
Which dish best represents Moura's identity?
I think there isn't a single dish that really describes us, but we have a focus on our slow cooked meats, which is something that we do pretty well, and then our pork belly, which is a confit pork belly, and we'll create different ways of presenting it. So with like a star anise and honey jus, for example. But we also do a really good cauliflower steak. And I think if you take those three meals and you say, what is Moura's identity? Our identity is versatility. We do, and we always try and create something unique, something good, something different.
I love your menu. French onion soup, you don't see it too often. A firm favourite starter among diners. It's rich, savoury and delicious. This isn't just a menu staple. It's a throwback to classic French cookery with a French savoury depth. Your grilled hake. Seafood lovers rave about your hake dish. It's often paired with clever sauces and a great showcase of your European finesse. But the most mentioned, loved and praised is your Sunday roast. Roast chicken, perfectly crispy skin and juicy meat with rich roasted veg and jus. I do like to scrub up on my reviews. So you offer your Sunday roast every week?
Yeah, every single Sunday we do it. So we'll do it. We've relaunched our Sunday. So we do have the Sunday roast available, but we've also introduced items there that if you don't feel like a Sunday roast, you can also have something else. And we always have specials running. So what is available on the website is not the only thing we have.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So we always have other specials running as well to try and complement the menu or the experience.
Another reason to get in and have a look.
You're listening to Rebecca Bowen with Quite a Stir on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM.
Bit of an unusual choice, I know, but I do love the haka, and we are in the midst of the Six Nations. Speaking of the Six Nations, before I go back to the questions, what are you doing Sunday?
So Sunday we've got our typical menu running, but we're also letting the menu get a little bit influenced by French cuisine. Mm-hmm. So we have done this since we've started, and we do get quite a bit of a following because of it. So, steak frites will obviously be on the menu, but we'll have things like beef bourguignon. We'll have, for the first time, we'll be doing a croque madame on the menu as well for breakfast. We're going to just bring out some of those classics. Not everything, just 3 or 4, and with the rest of what we do as well.
And you're open until 10 in the evening?
Open till 10 in the evening.
Yeah.
So from 10 till 10, yeah.
Brilliant. How do you balance traditional flavours with modern twists?
Oh, okay. Well, I would say we look at things, we try and bring out a new experience. Like, for instance, the one that we're doing now is we're working on a New York croissant with avocado, poached eggs and crispy bacon. But the twist is we're using a Venezuelan salsa. So it's a chili salsa with peanuts and sesame. So it's crunchy, it's warm, it's got some lovely flavors that lift it. And we've given it as a taster to various guests. Caitlin's tasted it as well, obviously. She was the first to taste, but we wanted to see what the feedback was, because sometimes it was always too hot, and we've got to sort of gauge the market as well. And there's been some real positive feedback on that, so that's going on the menu from next week. But designing the meals, we always try and bring flavors together and fuse different experiences to create something that's unique?
I mean, when he gave me a taste of it, he just put it over poached eggs, and it just lifted the dish so beautifully, and it had that nice little bite to it, and a bit of a herbaceous sort of background, and it really, really lifted such a simple dish. So you can imagine how it's going to turn out on breakfast like that. I think it's going to be amazing.
It does sound amazing. So your balance comes from respecting classic, beloved European cookery whilst giving it creative edges, whether through seasonal ingredients, imaginative pairings or subtle global influences, making the food both comforting and exciting for today's diners. Everybody wants a new thing on the block.
Yeah.
It's always this terrible, isn't it? You've got to start again each day.
Yeah.
Are there any ingredients people might not expect to find on your menu?
Oh, yes. So we do a few things. This is mainly found in our taster evenings, our wine pairing evenings, as we'll do things like gels and foams and smokes and jellies. And we'll play with things like agar, xanthan gum, soy lecithin as well. And we'll create things and we reinterpret dishes as well. So you won't find those evenings all like that, but when we tell you this evening is going to be down the gastronomic route, that's the one you need to look out for if you want to experience those things.
Francis is always playing with flavors though, and he bought himself an ice cream maker a few months ago, and he's been like a kid in the candy store playing around with flavors with that. So at the moment we've got a vanilla and miso ice cream on the menu, which is divine. So it's like very umami type flavor mixed in with the vanilla. It's quite an interesting ice cream.
It's really, really good.
Where did you get that idea from?
I just had the flavors there and ordered miso, and I wasn't using it. And I thought, okay, well, I've got this vanilla custard that I have as a base for the ice cream. Let's see what happens. And we tried it. And this is sort of where you start to see, I like this idea as a base. Where can we go from there? Or is it just something I'm going to throw away because I should never have gone there? So we play with that. And it came out like a real upgrade to a salted caramel sort of experience. So, it was really, really good.
Light bulb moment. And you've got a beetroot served with whipped goat's curd and toasted pine nuts, caramelised figs with venison, black truffle and coffee-infused elements in your desserts, tomato consomme and tarragon spiked lobster courses, yum, burnt butter, tarragon and whey sauce. The Sunday hake is served with a sauce using a whey alongside tarragon and burnt butter. Whey isn't commonly featured on casual menus, and it gives a slightly tangy, rich taste. How hard are those ingredients to source?
So, whey actually came as a byproduct. So we make our own butter for our Marmite butter, or when we're doing a flavoured butter. So it just gives us more control over the product from the beginning. And you're left with quite a bit of it. And I've been using it to bulk up other sauces, but I wanted to find a way to make it sing for itself. And I had some left over, decided to follow a bechamel route, and it came out with something far lighter, and it just allowed the herbs to speak. So we threw the parsley and a little bit of mustard and then some tarragon, and it brought out this beautiful combination that was a lot lighter, and it didn't have to throw that much in to get the product out or get what we wanted out of it. So it was just, how can I say, something that we didn't want to waste. And we turned it into something else.
Yeah, that's very clever. You've got to know what you're doing to be that experimental. Well done. Good evening, welcome back to the show. We are joined with Francis and Caitlin of Moura. Before we continue with the questions, let's touch on the name. What does it mean?
So we really struggled to find a name for the restaurant. We were refurbing for a few months before we opened, and Francis had this epiphany moments at 4:00 in the morning after he was having a bit of a sleepless night over restaurant setting up logistics. And he came across a Galatian folklore about this woman called the Enchanted Moura. So I think what we were looking for as a brand was something feminine, something that was in touch with nature.
Nice.
And there's a sort of Spanish-Portuguese folklore about this enchanted Moura who was like a sirenesque figure who lured men into the forest with her song, and she was also a healer. And we felt like it checked both boxes, because obviously she's like, someone who lives in the forest, and she's a healer, and obviously had that feminine touch. So we looked at possibly naming the restaurant the Enchanted Moura, but there is another restaurant somewhere in Europe with the same name. So we thought, just Moura. It's nice and clean.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a good choice for the restaurant.
It has, absolutely.
Yeah, good omen as well.
Good omen indeed.
Yeah. What food from your culture do you think more people should try?
Oh, so many things.
I think we've for the two that we would say you definitely have to go try. One is a boerewors, which is a South African type of sausage, and it's seasoned, it's spiced. You find coriander seeds in there and all sorts of things, or ground coriander. But it's so flavorful, and we'll just have it on a bread roll at a rugby game, for example, and we'll put things like chakalaka on it, or even just
Mrs. Ball's chutney, the famous thing that you put on, which you can actually buy here in supermarkets and stuff. I've seen it around.
Yeah, and then the other one would be a babuti. But you get babuti, which is traditionally made as like a lightly curried mince, and then the rest of it goes with it. But I sort of prefer the vegetarian option. So with that, it's pumpkin or butternut squash, and you add your almonds and you'll add your raisins in. And we do it slightly differently. So instead of just putting egg on top, we actually custard the egg a little bit, and we enhance it with different flavors. So yeah, and then that's our little twist on it, but it's absolutely fantastic. So the pumpkin with the lentils or chickpeas, and then almonds in that. Yeah, it's a definite go-to. You'll see Marco Pierre White tried it out, and he referred to it as a South African version of a shepherd's pie. But when he tasted it, he goes, "That's delicious," and it is. It really is delicious.
Yeah. I've got to ask, what's a chakalaka?
Chakalaka is like curried peppers. Yeah, so red.
And tomato.
Yeah, and slightly curried. So it turned into almost like a, reduce it right down. And it's just got this really intense spiced flavour. So it's not really hot. You can have it hot, but then you sort of added two things. So like the on top of the boerewors. Yeah, it's a good example.
And for me, it's like sweet foods that I miss. So like Cook Sisters, I dream about them at night. I love them so much. I don't know how to describe them though. How would you describe a Cook Sister?
Really, really, really sweet, dripping in syrup pastries that are fried.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you make the pastries, you knot them up into almost like a plait, and then you'll fry them. When they're hot, you put them into a syrup, and the syrup has got things like lemon zest and ginger inside of it, and and you leave it there to soak for about 8 hours at least. And it comes out, and it's crunchy, and it ticks so many boxes. Yeah, it really is good.
Oh, can you get anywhere over in?
We made it once for a tasting event, and that was the only time we've seen it here.
So you have to make them.
But boerewors that you mentioned earlier, there's I can't remember the name of it, but there's a butcher on Romney Hill that does boerewors. So if you ever wanted to try it, they do stock it there. So
gotta try that. What's the hardest dish on your menu to get right?
Oh, so this is interesting, because we try and create all of our meals in a way that a single person can prepare and plate them and prep them. So with us, our meals are very time sensitive. Otherwise, they'll start to burn, or you'll find the crackling on the pork belly isn't done correctly. So we have to have the timings right, and that sort of applies to all of them. But anything that's really difficult, not really. I would say they're designed in a way to be simple, so we have that forgiving space, because with one person in the kitchen, and I mean, we've got one of our team members as well that helps me out. She's learning in the process, but I would say that you don't want to have an issue where you now need to remake something, and you've got a pass full of tickets, and you need to find space for this to go in the oven when we have a tiny oven.
I think Francis has learned the hard way. He used to have some really complicated dishes on the menu, and if you got really, really busy, it just became super difficult for him. So I think he's learned to, make things in a simpler way, but what it means though is the hardest part for him is that the prep that comes into, he has to be 100% prepped for everything, otherwise
could get snowed under really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think a lot of it has come from him having to adapt with being one person in the kitchen, and to having such a tiny kitchen that you had to do it that way. So I wouldn't say any of the dishes that he made are especially complicated to put together, but it's the prep and the all that making sure the flavors are correct and all that preparation work, that's where all the hard stuff comes in.
And fish can be so unforgiving, can't it?
Oh, yeah.
You've got seconds between perfectly flaky and juicy. Tarragon is powerful as well. Yeah. Balance is everything, isn't it?
Absolutely. We weigh everything, and it's one of those where you see in movies where someone's giving a taste of a sauce and said, "Does this taste better than yesterday?" That's exactly what it is. So we're trying to figure out how much do we add, and it also helps us know how much we're spending, keeping our costing right.
Yeah.
And then how much we have left over and what we need to use that for, and how we can use it. So.
I think you did say that some of the fish dishes are the more challenging ones, just because you've got to get it just right.
Yeah, they have to be delicate, like you said, to get it to the right point. Yeah.
What's the most stressful thing in a restaurant service? A crazy moment where timing, communication, and nerves all get tested at the same time.
So
we joke about people all getting off the same bus at the same time, which has actually happened to us before. We had a coach breakdown outside of the restaurant. The entire coach trooped into our restaurant and ordered coffee, and we had a panicked sort of half an hour getting everything out. But that's not really the problem. It's not people arriving at the same time that's an issue. It's when, for the kitchen at least, it's when starters, mains, desserts for various different tables hit Francis all at the same time. And sometimes it's no matter how well you prepare, you sometimes stagger booking so that you can time things perfectly, and then somebody runs late or somebody takes a little bit longer to order, or there's an allergy that you have to be very careful or cater for. Then suddenly things get complicated.
I'll say a kitchen's very specifically designated, so the raw meat, the fish, and you try and also prevent that cross contamination when you're moving things around. And so when you do get hit with desserts and starters and mains all at the same time, you become a bit of an octopus in the kitchen.
And you're the only one doing it, right? Wow.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's impressive.
It can get complicated in the front as well, because obviously you've got people coming in, and sometimes people come in and order takeaway coffees, and then we sell wines to take away as well, so people come in and want advice on what wine to buy. So sometimes you'll be wearing 3 hats at once. But it's the nature of hospitality. Yeah. We all kind of just used to it. Like Francis has the best advice for anyone working in hospitality, and I always listen to this piece of advice when I'm really stressed, especially where I'm working now. Obviously full time I'm at Le Monde, and then Moura is still my baby, but it gets super, super busy there, especially when the rugby's on. Yeah. And you tell yourself, the shift always ends. No matter how bad it is, or how much you feel like you're dying.
Trying to find
going under,
A shift always ends. When you have that mentality, no matter what happens, you get through.
You push through.
Yeah. You might have a very large glass of wine at the end of it, but that's fair enough.
That is a good motto. What food trend do you love right now, and one you secretly hate?
I was talking about this the other day. I hate this whole marry me chicken thing on social media. What does it even mean? Even Tesco's has a wrap that says marry me chicken something, and I'm just like, no. I don't know. I don't like that. But
I agree.
I don't even know what marry me chicken is, to be honest.
It's a parmesan with a sun-dried tomato kind of sauce.
Okay, all right.
I think they just renamed it because someone must have loved it so much. Or whatever.
I think it's just because it became like a meme, almost like marry me chicken.
It's
my take on marry me chicken.
No, that's true.
Too much for me, I don't know.
And what's yours?
Oh gosh, I don't really have anything that I secretly hate. You sort of look at different trends and you try and identify if it fits into your market. So you try and work with it. I mean, one of the biggest changes happened was when people started becoming, following a vegan diet, and you had to find a way to make things work. And the chef that actually gave me the majority of my training said, you have to pretend that meat didn't exist to try and find out how to prepare the best meal possible. And he says not just about throwing a mushroom risotto down, which is pretty much what you'll find as a substitute. He says you've got to look for something different to stand out, and that's what we look for. But I would say, the one that's The one thing that I don't like is more, not really a meal, it's more of a culture thing in hospitality, and it's a thing that's sort of brought on by the you see it on TV with chefs yelling at somebody and whatever, and it's toxicity. It doesn't help. It doesn't develop the brand. You end up with an incredibly high staff turnover, and it does you no favors, because half of those people live in the area that you are targeting, and they talk, they don't come back.
That's true.
Yeah, I say that's the one thing I don't like. But I mean, I don't like the most, and in particular when you're looking at the toxicity, is it's still very much a boys' club. So yeah, it's very much a boys' club, and you can see that women are not being recognised properly for what they're doing and what they're achieving, and they're overlooked, and it just needs to stop.
Yay!
Yeah.
Big up! We love that.
Yeah.
Oh, every woman in town is gonna give you the big thumbs up for that and swamp your restaurant just because you're championing women. Yeah, somebody needs to. Welcome back to the show. We are joined with Caitlin and Francis of Moura. Great show, by the way. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
What advice would you give someone who wants to open a restaurant?
Other than don't do it.
Yeah.
I think get your foundation sorted out first. Execute your tasks properly and plan 6 months ahead. Never fall below 6 months. I mean, give you an example now. We're already starting to look at Christmas, purely because Christmas and December are still fresh in our minds. We're able to reflect on it. And a lot of other places still have images of what they did over Christmas that are very easy to access, as opposed to scrolling through about 300 pages before you get there. So we can see what they've done. We can go, oh, that was a nice idea. I'll remember that. Maybe I'll do a twist on that. Or maybe I'll use the same sort of concept, but for something else. So it is, and constantly review what you're doing. If something's not working, get rid of it. Don't waste your money on it. Don't waste your time on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just get it going. If a meal's not working, irrespective of how good it is, move it on. It's obviously just not ready. Like a game of Jenga, that block doesn't move now, but 4 moves down the line, it'll move. So yeah, it's just you have to be very, very, so particularly now with how volatile the industry is in the sector. You have to make decisions, and you've got to stand by them and go with them. So if something is not working, make the decision, because it's not going to change for a while. It's not just suddenly going to take up one day.
No.
You do have to be quite adaptable, because things change all the time. Something that's working, this year might not work the following.
That's true.
You've just got to roll with it. I think my piece of advice would be to know all of the legal stuff you need to comply with, because obviously there's a lot of stuff, a lot of red tape when you're setting up a restaurant, you're opening the first time. And it's almost like, do you have a license for that permit? Sometimes. So in examples, when we first set up, we got our liquor license granted, and it allowed us to sell alcohol up until a certain point in the evening. And then we found out that our planning permission doesn't allow us to stay open later than 8 o'clock. That's all at the time. So it kind of watered down our opening a little bit, because we had to open more during the day and only early evening. And we sort of had like an early bird special. And then obviously we got the planning permission to open up later, and it was all sort of hunky-dory. But it was one of those things where it's like, you think your liquor license allows you to stay open or trading hours to this time, but actually there's so many other things you have to take into account. So I think lessons learned on that, but I think best thing you can do is just ask somebody who owns a small independent that's set one up about what you should focus on.
That's pretty much as good as you get. Because they would have gone through all the rough patches, and they would say, listen, focus on this, here's what you do. And also, don't be afraid to phone the authoritative bodies for the environmental health officer. We contact them all the time when we're looking for advice on something that we want to try, whether we want to ferment something, whether we want to do something different in the kitchen, because our kitchen's quite small and it gets very, very hot very quickly. And they'll always respond with advice. And even if it's sometimes something on the lines of, you need to do a risk assessment, you need to do a HACCP for that. And then okay, great, so this is where I need to go. And then you feed back with the HACCP, you feed back with the risk assessment. And they'll say, well, that looks really good. And you've got their buy-in. don't be afraid. They're not there to scold you. Their literal purpose is to help you along, and provide a safer environment for consumers.
Work with them, not against them. Don't
100%.
be afraid of them. If you know anyone that would like to come in for an interview from HACCP, I've been trying to get hold of somebody. They're not responding. But yeah, the message is, don't just open a restaurant because you love food. Open one because you love hospitality. A lot of people imagine preparing beautiful dishes, but the real job is, like you said, spreadsheets, managing people, cleaning, chasing suppliers, working when everyone else is off. So, do the things brilliantly rather than trying to do everything. Smaller menus, better quality, less waste. You can have the best food in the world and still go bust if you don't understand costs, because profit is part of the recipe.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You were talking about that earlier.
So, from that, the piece of advice I'd also give someone is just make sure you know how to do everything. Because obviously hospitality is what it is at the moment. Sometimes staff can be a bit flaky.
Yeah.
We're very lucky with the dedicated staff that we do have. They're great. But, we've had instances before where, I think it was when we first opened as well, we trained up a staff member. It was our first busy Saturday after we opened, and he didn't rock up for work. And I was, as Francis was saying, I became an octopus in the front. So I was sort of doing everything, and I was still learning how to make coffee and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's gone are the days where you can own a restaurant and not be very hands-on with the business. You have to be there on the ground all the time. You've got to have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. That's why, obviously I'm working at Le Monde full-time at the moment. Mr. Tannen Martinez is in there every single day.
Wow.
There's not a day that he's not in one of his restaurants. He's very hands-on. He checks everything that's coming in, everything that's going out. He makes sure the quality is great, makes sure he greets every guest. We have the same sort of ethos with how we deal with everything, very hands-on.
Absolutely.
We greet every guest, we know everybody's name, making that effort I think is very, very important. So if you're not, as you said, don't go into owning a restaurant just because you like the romanticism of it, or you like food.
It's hard work, isn't it?
You've got to have that genuine interest and passion in what you're doing, and maybe a genuine interest in getting to know people and building relationships
the
with people.
Hospitality side of things as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of chefs don't like talk. They like to stay behind the stoves, don't they? They're kind of socially awkward. Not you guys, but some chefs can be.
No, they can be. I think being in front of house for so many years, I found it so easy and couldn't really understand how people wouldn't be able to engage well. But being in the kitchen now for just under 3 years, I've sort of lost an eloquence in dealing with people. So, and
I
there
don't
is,
think
so
so.
it's
I don't think that's true
so
either.
I feel it. I feel like I'm stumbling over situations where I would normally just slide into like a conversation. So it is, you do sort of lose it because your focus is completely different. But it is, I'd say, you've touched on all the real important points there.
I think something that's gone down really well in the restaurant is the fact that Francis comes out the kitchen.
Yes.
People are always very, very surprised when, he's out to the chef jacket, comes out and says, how's everything going?
That's
You
nice.
guys, did you enjoy the sauce? Like kind of thing. Or you just chat away like, how's the dog, the fur baby? Or,
that's
whatever it
lovely.
is. The fact that he comes out the kitchen, I think, it's very, very good that you do that, because not all chefs, as you said, like to
engage like
that. So I think it just adds an extra element to what makes Moura.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm very patriotic and I love our national dish, cawl. I did look up the iconic signature dish of Durban, South Africa, and it is bunny chow. It consists of a hollowed out loaf of white bread filled with hot, spicy Durban-style curry, typically made with mutton, yummy, lamb, chicken or beans. This popular street food originated in the 1940s within the city's Indian community. Is that something you'd offer? And is it nice?
Yeah. No, it's really, really good. It's very carb heavy, so you can share it with somebody. But, it's the Durban curry that we do. It has about 21 ingredients to it to get the flavors out. But it is phenomenal. We do it particularly on rugby events when Wales is playing South Africa. Here in Cardiff, we'll do that, or when we're doing a South African taster menu. So we'll put something like that in. We've done it before. We pulled out traditional dishes.
Yeah.
But and then once in a while we will throw it on if we have a South African coming through for dinner or lunch, and they'll ask, "Oh, please, could you make us a bunny chow?" And yeah, we don't mind doing it. It's great. And then we also have some, which is a great treat.
Yeah, of course. Delicious, yeah.
Oh, well, people really, really like their bunny chows in South Africa, and it's almost like a religion. It's like frying,
Yeah.
like barbecuing in South Africa is almost like a religion. I mean, my brother loves bunny chow so much that he has an Instagram page dedicated to
I
him
love it.
Yeah.
reviewing bunny chows at different establishments.
Bunny chow.
Called the bunny chow.
I love that.
So obviously, South Africans are very passionate about their food, and especially if it's the good stuff.
I love that. I think everyone should be proud of their national dish. And speaking of Instagram accounts, you've got one,
Yes.
the Wicked Wine Lady.
Yeah, so I go by the Wicked Wine Lady. It's just my little Instagram where I review wines, and I take nice photos of interesting bottles that I've sold in the store, or I recently went up to a vineyard on the way to Cowbridge called St. Hilary's, where we help them with their harvest, because they always rely on volunteers. So there was a big group of us all
lovely.
up there, so we took some snaps while we were up there. It's just things like that just sort of tickles my nerd brain a little bit, and I could stand and talk about wine all day. I love it so much. So I needed that sort of creative outlet, which is what I use my Instagram account for. I do need to post more on it, though, but it's difficult when you're as busy as we are all the time. So,
What grape do you favour the most?
oh, that's a tricky one. I think, you know what? For me, it's Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Because it's the winemaker's canvas, they call it,
Yeah.
because it takes on the character of the environment in which it's grown. So, it's is it a cool, moderate, or warm climate? Is it on a slope that's south-facing? Is the
Fertile
soil,
soil, yes.
what's in the soil? And it's also, it's a grape variety that takes on a lot of character based on how it's treated in the winery it's as well. So it really is, it becomes a sort of masterpiece of whatever the winemaker has put together. So has he subjected it to a little bit of oak aging? So has it taken on a bit of an oaky character, a bit of vanilla? Is it grown in this sort of environment where it's got a bit more sort of baked apple type flavour to it? Honestly, Chardonnay I think is just so lovely.
So lovely, I agree. With Chablis, is that the only unoaked Chardonnay?
So Chablis is a good example of an unoaked one. There are a few Australian unoaked Chardonnays from sort of like Margaret River that are quite well known as well.
I can note that.
And then there's other French areas that are maybe less well known, like Montagne, that do lighter, almost like Chablis styled Chardonnay based wines.
Nice.
So really good.
Lovely. What region do you favour the most?
Oh, it's like very difficult, because there's so many places I really really like, but I think it's Tuscany.
Tuscany, yeah.
Oh wow. Didn't see that coming at all.
No?
No,
What's
did not.
yours?
Oh, me. I would have to dive back into South Africa over here, and I would say that
Really?
Swartland is definitely. It was previously a mining colony. So when they got rid of all of that, all these minerals were just sort of untapped. And when they started, obviously putting these vines down, they started pulling characteristics up that were really powerful, intense, and pepperiness was really peppery, and so you got some beautiful wines from there.
What's the name of those again so I can write it down?
Swartland.
Yeah, Swartland is a region. Yeah,
Swartland.
you can pretty much go even the lower end ones, the entry level price wise. They are.
Are they?
Yeah, they punch way above their weight when they've got all those characteristics that are coming through.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So for Tuscany, which grape? Massetto, Brunello?
Oh, Brunello.
Brunello.
Well,
and you
I
like the
mean,
Napa, you mentioned the Screaming Eagle Cabernet earlier, the Napa cult wines.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm working full time at Le Monde, and they've got the biggest wine list of any restaurant outside of London. So massive amount of money has gone into to building that wine list.
Cellar, yeah.
And some of the wines on there, they've got like Chateau Lafite and like things.
Chateau Latour as well, no doubt.
Chateau Latour, yeah. So they've got really, really beautiful wines. And I think what's been quite fun for me is learning a little bit more about some of those wines. Like I'd never seen Screaming Eagle in real life, and obviously they've got 2 bottles there in the fridge.
Wow.
As I said, it's £4,850 though, so it's worth more than my car.
Mine too.
Which has made me want to drink it even more. But at the same time, I know probably in my lifetime it's just going to be out of my affordability range unless I win the lotto tomorrow. In which case I would share it with everyone.
Oh, that's kind. And we did talk about that wine that set a world record for £500,000, something like that, £550,000.
Yeah.
The DRC. I can't pronounce the French names. Sound like Joey from Friends.
DRC.
It was in 1945.
I didn't even read about this.
Domaine de la Conti.
That's the one. That's the one.
There you go. Well done.
Yes.
But I mean, who spends £500,000 on one bottle of wine?
No.
I cannot cry.
Well, that I think is
I would have
probably
buyer's remorse after that.
I think even if I won the lottery, I couldn't do it.
Well, that area is like the best regarded area for Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
It's just an iconic thing.
And I have to talk about the elephant in the room, the Gamay wine, the Gamay grape.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Everyone raves about Beaujolais. I hate it.
So I find it quite funny actually, because for some reason Wales is the biggest celebrant of Beaujolais Day outside of Beaujolais.
Oh dear God.
And I think people like the Mr. Martinez, the senior, were sort of very influential in making that happen. Because I don't want to say he originally brought the
great marketing idea.
Beaujolais Nouveau in, but every Beaujolais Day wants to be at Le Monde because it is like a piece of history almost. But here's the thing. There's obviously the one that you can drink, and if you want to be a traditionalist, you're more than welcome to have a little taste of it. But I think most people just drink something else on the day, and they just use it as a day to celebrate, which is, I suppose, is not really what they were aiming for, but it's become a whole different beast in Wales. I would say that it's like it's more time to go out and have good food and good wine. To be fair, the Beaujolais Nouveau that was released that we had in Moura I actually thought was not bad.
We got a pretty decent one.
The year before, the vintage tasted like green banana, and I was not a fan. So it's the only time I've tasted green banana in a wine. But obviously I respect the tradition and I always try every vintage. But it really could do with a lot more time. A lot more time in bottle. It's just as it tickles my nerd brain a little bit. I want to see how this vintage has turned out, but generally it's not very good.
The grape was actually banned in the 13th century by the Duke of Burgundy. He said he branded it the grape of peasants. I'm sorry. Not me, I didn't do it, he did it.
Just the messenger.
Yeah. He didn't like its thin-bodied, candied fruit profile.
It is very much a Pinot Noir, thin-skinned sort of grape, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's, we've sort of found that it works really, really well with a light steak lunch, so garlic butter, a thin like minute steak, that sort of thing, because it works well with those sort of flavours. But I would say a Gamay.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Gamay. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not a grape I would choose if I'm going for a bottle of wine, unless I've got a particular meal that I would work with.
I do like Morgon Beaujolais wines, which are made from Gamay, because they do have some interesting character in the background. It's like sometimes you get a bit of caramel.
Okay.
But they use something called semi-carbonic maceration, which sometimes gives it like Kirshy sort of bubblegum flavours.
Oh, yes.
Which, I don't know if that's what I would expect having, drinking a wine.
Yeah.
What I'd be looking for generally. No.
Yeah. And that brings us to an end of our chat with the team behind Moura Restaurant here in Cardiff. Huge thanks to you for sharing your story and your passion for food and your wine with us today. And if you haven't yet been, make sure Moura is on your must-visit list, because the wine list is incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you for having us.
Radio Cardiff, coming to you wherever you are.